Some games are here to stay, and this is mostly due to the respect their developers show to the players as well as clear passion for their own work. Despite a natural mishap or two, the following games have seen some impressive support, mostly with great content updates and regular release schedules that won't let these games disappear from anyone's radar. Of course, we could have added a few more, and while some new games are off to a great start, the relentless Fortnite being a major example, we want to highlight the ones that have been around for a few years already. So let's begin our top 10 free online games with awesome updates. Number 10. Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla isn't just a breath of fresh air in the brawler genre, it is also a really fun game for both casual gamers and those looking for some competitive 4-player action. Luckily, the developers are pumping out updates like there's no tomorrow, adding plenty of skins, but also new maps and several balance improvements. After all, a game that features nearly 40 fighters and is constantly growing needs some serious balancing to remain fair. As a result of these updates and all the love that the devs put into Brawlhalla, the game keeps growing and the very healthy player base is also increasing. This was enough to capture Ubisoft's attention, and the giant studio has acquired developer Blue Mammoth Games, obviously granting the rights to all things Brawlhalla. Let's hope the game stays on the right path. Number 9. Crossout. Crossout is a new game by our standards, having officially entered open beta in May 2017, but has been around for a while. A quick look at some stats will give you some interesting hints about its healthy player base, something that is surely due to the regular updates the developer is releasing. With all the new parts, factions, game modes, and other features we get from the updates, Crossout is already offering a huge amount of content to satisfy your auto-combat craving. But they take it a step further with a nice and still not very unusual community love, with a couple of weekly shows, The Garage and The Crossout Show. We applaud them for this initiative, which is completely opposed to the traditional and beaten-to-death format of the developer diary. Number 8. Neverwinter. Possibly the most popular Dungeons & Dragons MMORPG. Well, maybe after Dungeons & Dragons Online, Neverwinter is a solid effort from Cryptic Studios and another recurrent topic on our website. We lost track of the number of updates and the updates to updates, no matter how silly it may sound. Almost 5 years on, Neverwinter still sports a player base that many recent MMORPGs would kill for, and it's a great game that is easily accessible and enjoyable. If you're just starting, there is a ton of content and thousands of hours waiting for you. Number 7. Star Trek Online. Star Trek Online is over 8 years old and is one of the 3 games developed and supported by Cryptic Studios. If there was one thing that we can't say about them is that they don't support their games, and Star Trek Online is a case in point. It's impressive how frequent Cryptic launches new updates for Star Trek Online after so many years. There's a small but faithful player base waiting for new content, and with such a rich lore spanning so many decades of fiction, there's always something new. Even the classic TV series Deep Space Nine is the subject of some of the expansions, widening the appeal of the game to veteran fans of the franchise. Even if Star Trek Online isn't a spring chicken anymore, it is still a beloved game with a colossal scope and a development team that isn't letting go of its players anytime soon. Number 6. World of Tanks. We picked World of Tanks as we could have even chosen World of Warships or War Thunder, as these games are actively growing on a regular basis. However, we decided to go with the original, the unsuspecting title that quickly became one of the most popular online games in the world. And I'm not even talking exclusively about the free-to-play market. World of Tanks has an impressive roster of armored vehicles from the mid-20th century, and over 500 of them spanning 10 nations. With dozens of maps to fight and a huge player base, this is a game that keeps growing and is regularly sitting on the top 10 PC titles that bring the most revenue. Proving that World of Tanks is here to stay, Wargaming has recently released an update that comes with a new graphics engine and new orchestral war music as well. World of Tanks officially looks awesome now, as you can see. Number 5. Blade and Soul. Blade and Soul took its sweet time to reach North America and Europe, but we can't complain about NCSoft's willingness to recover the lost time. The studio launched update after update, class after class, story act after story act, and it is still going strong with an impressive ratio of releases. Every 2 months or so, we get a new Blade and Soul content update, and this usually comes with new raids, equipment, and more stuff to keep players invested for more time. Until the next expansion lands, this is a game that is growing fast and in a very healthy way. Number 4. Tera. Months go by and there is always a Tera update around the corner. It's like they don't want the players to be let down, and looking back through the years and a respectable player base, Brawlhalla is doing just fine. Sure, they get some slack due to their apparent love of female-only classes, but slowly they are balancing things out. Recently, we got the male brawler with a counterpunch update, so there's that. With Tera making the jump to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, we're pretty confident that this MMORPG is going to get some nice content updates during the next couple of years at least. Number 3. Smite. If we have to choose one and only one MOBA game that seems to get the most quality content updates, then we must go with Smite. Sorry Dota 2 and League of Legends fans, this is just how we see it. Hi-Res Studios is a relentless force of nature in what content creation is concerned. We're not just seeing new gods and tons of skins, both serious and just plain freaking nuts, but also every other kind of content imaginable. For example, visual updates to existing maps, or lovely odd adventures where you can enter the anime with Daji or Mario Kart with the gods in Apollo Racers Rumble. No matter where you look, Smite has got you covered. Serious competitive gameplay, fun distractions, or completely bonkers modes, it has it all. Oh, and it currently is sitting at 94 gods. Quite impressive. Number 2. Path of Exile. Path of Exile isn't just a good example of a game that is getting regular updates, it's also widely regarded as one of the greatest living proofs that free-to-play games can treat your pockets right. This action RPG should be classified as a textbook example for any studio wanting to create a profitable, awesome free-to-play game. Anyway, we're talking about supporting your game and making sure that it remains fresh and interesting for both new and veteran players alike, and the folks at Grinding Gear Games are tireless in that respect. Not only did the Fall of Oriath expansion change everything about the campaign by turning it into a 10-act playthrough, War for the Atlas added 32 randomized maps, new bosses, added support to more languages, and more. More recently, things got even better with the Bestiary League expansion, which added a Monster Hunter twist to Path of Exile, with the ability to hunt, capture, and sacrifice beasts, as well as displaying the captured creatures in your own personalized zoo of monstrosities. Path of Exile is huge, and it's only getting bigger and better as time goes on. Number 1. Warframe. Warframe is still in open beta after 5 years. It will probably be in open beta as we grow old, have grandchildren, and die. But that's okay. After all, this game has so much to offer that you'll probably need a couple of lifespans to go through it all. Digital Extremes managed to turn Warframe into one of the most popular shooters ever, and if you doubt this, go take a look at the top Steam games where it sits comfortably at number 6 at the time of doing this. They did it by listening to the players, fixing stuff that wasn't very popular, and constantly evolving a game that already had plenty of depth and more characters than you could shake a stick at. 34 right now, and that is not even counting with the Prime variations. But what made Warframe even more popular was the release of the Plains of Eidolon expansion, turning a somewhat limited third-person shooter into an open-world extravaganza, capable of rubbing shoulders with a Destiny or two. If Digital Extremes keeps on releasing content of this high quality, and judging by the upcoming landscape set on Venus, things look promising. Warframe will remain as one of the world's top shooters. I'm wondering if they're getting on the Battle Royale bandwagon or not. And these are our favorites, the online games that seem to be a passion project from the developers that truly respect their players. We could have added a few more if we have the space, but we'll have to settle for some honorable mentions. Vindictus is still getting significant updates and new characters. Elsword is seeing its roster expanding through job updates, and Skyforge is also one that sees regular releases of invasions and characters. Let us know in the comments below about your favorite games that get regular and quality support from the development team.